Oh, technical issues is always lovely. Lovely to be back with you, Janet, for another episode of Heart and Soul. Today we are talking about cleansing and clearing. And cleansing and clearing. And it's just like coming back to yourself, without cleansing and clearing. You're all out there. You're all jittery. Everything is adding to your stress. When we cleanse and clear, it's just like taking an in-breath, arriving in the here and now, concentrating on this beautiful, gorgeous heart and soul chat. And now I think it's easy, smooth sailing onward. Thank you, Janet, for being here.
No, sometimes that's how it goes. And, I think everybody knows with using technology these days, and, even technology, sometimes you have to use a bit of Reiki or clear it a little bit if there's like sort of issues. So even with technology, you can use clearing and cleansing, not only for our own energetic systems or our chakras or just our well-being. And as you sort of say, that sort of nice grounding is a great place to start. So what sort of methods do you use when you're clearing and cleansing?
I cutting cords with Archangel Michael, and he's also a great technician, or especially if you need a little bit of patience when things don't work out. And so definitely cutting cords, because we just, us two chatting, we have sort of an energetic cord. Every person you pass or every person or thing you think about, especially when you're constantly worrying or afraid, that then really drains your energy. And those cords start maybe like a hair, but they can get bigger and bigger. And then you're losing that energy, or have others' energy influence yourself. As empaths, we know, we get influenced from others. So cutting cords, really cutting all those cords, letting go of whatever we picked up, is my first step. And just for people who are not used to cutting cords, the cord to love can never be severed. So it's really important that, especially when we cleanse the energy with others, with your spouse, with your children, with your parents, with your co-workers, that you can't cut the cord to love. But when we cut all the cords, love remains, and we come back to that wonderful, gorgeous connection and see clearer. So cutting cord is my number one. What's yours, Janet?
Well, just before we move on to mine, I just think that really ties in from our episode about forgiveness, because actually as part of forgiveness, cutting cords really is kind of the next step, isn't it? So anyone who's, interested in that, go and listen to the previous episode and then cut cords. For me, I have a few different ones. I mean, as an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, I love meditations. So I often just relax. I might even be standing in the garden grounding at the same time, just close my eyes and imagine this beautiful white light coming down. Some people like gold, so it's totally up to you, or whatever color you want. And I just see this lovely beam of white light, because to me it's very healing, very pure, coming through and just working its way gently through each cell, each part of my body, right down to the tips of my toes, and then connecting down through the earth. So it's like clearing all of that negative energy, and yeah, just filling you back then with a more positive, brighter, all the negative gone, and bring in the positive, the joyful light into the body. And I love that. What if you got, do you ever do that?
Yeah, I did do that too. So I start with the grounding you've mentioned also, you know, with feet on the ground. So that's also something you can, when the weather is nice, or even when it's raining, you can just go barefoot on grass or moss, or just, and then for me, it's like taking a deep breath, and it's just like, oh, everything sort of falls away with the connection to Mother Earth. And yeah, the connection to Mother Earth, sort of feeling like you get roots out of the soles of your feet, and really deep going down into the heart of Mother Earth, you know, and then bringing up that nurturing, loving, compassionate energy into your soles of your feet, to your ankles, lower legs, and so on, really coming up through the whole body, filling your whole body with that love and compassion and fresh earth energy, truly grounding you. And then, yes, opening up to the universe and bringing in that white light, clearing from the crown, and then soothing the brain, you know, that's very helpful. And then, like you described, going down and then having those two energies meet in the middle of the heart, and breathing in those energy into the heart and out to the front and back of your heart. This is really, yeah, a deep cleanse on a cellular level, you know, and yeah, if we have an issue somewhere, we can even focus on that area, and it brings us truly back to ourselves, into a more calmer inner peace kind of space. And what's your next one, Janet?
Well, I was going to go on to say, do you ever work with crystals? Because obviously there are some great crystals for clearing and cleansing energy and helping sort of protect us against the energy vampires. So you've got like obsidian, for example, is a great one for that protection.
That's the black one, right?
That's the black one. I think I've just got a little chip of it here. It's where, if anybody's watching, if anyone's listening, it's a little black one. You can look it up on Google. Another nice one is citrine, is the yellow one, thinking very much of the solar energy of the sun, and very much connected with our solar plexus. So that's our strength center. And that's, the sun is a great way of cleansing as well, and also for clearing crystals. Amethyst as well. I love the amethyst. Again, if you are listening, go and look it up. It's such a beautiful one, and that's great for emotional well-being, sort of like any negative emotion, and sort of helping to bring them. Yes. And I think that's, do you have any crystals that you use?
Just for the listeners, I made the sign on top of my head with amethyst. That's sort of like the connection to the spiritual world, to our crown chakra and our intuition as well. So for me, of course, it's rose quartz. I love rose quartz, and I'm amazed I don't have anyone. Not one here next to me. Yeah, perfect. A heart of rose quartz. And that's really heart healing and helping with self-love, truly being gentler with yourself, because we can be often so harsh on ourselves. And crystals are just amazing. And yeah, intuitively pick. I love Christmas market or something, and then the stand with the crystals is sort of like, ooh, and just picking the ones that you feel called to, and that's the one you need at the moment, and play with them, you know. Yeah, the sun can recharge those, but also the full moon is nice. And another way of cleansing for me is imagining like walking through a beautiful waterfall, just letting that water wash away, like when we take a shower, you know, it's just that energetic shower, and just imagine yourself, the water is washing away all the gray we picked up, and then we can come out the other side of the waterfall sparkly and with fresh energy. That goes hand in hand with your meditation, Jenny.
Yeah, that's a lovely one. And I think as well, you know, it is a nice one, you know, if you're having a shower in the morning, just to let all of that, any negativity, to wash away, so you're all ready for the day ahead. I think that's a lovely one, or at the end of the day. And another one as well, if you are into like Epsom baths, salts, if you like prefer to have baths, that's a great one, because again, it's sort of removing toxicity and negativity out of your body as you're relaxing in a nice bath. So that's also a good one.
Exactly, and cleansing your energy system deeply, you know, that's really, really amazing. And for me also, it's about sending back the pieces we picked up. It's like with cords, but it's sort of like things can stuck on us, and then just taking in a deep breath in, and on the out breath, sending everything that's not mine back to where it belongs. And of course, on the in breath, calling back all the parts or pieces of me that I left somewhere outside. And sometimes I see it like a puzzle, sort of, oh, okay, that piece I've missed, or it's sort of like you come to like completion. It's sort of like, oh, I never realized I missed those parts, you know.
That's a great way to describe it, as like a jigsaw puzzle, like a puzzle's coming back to where they should be. And I think people don't often think about that, of how they're leaving, as you say, that sort of energy, that part of themselves elsewhere, and calling that back is so important. Another one that I like to use, because I love sound healing, and you've got the solfeggio frequencies, and there's one at 417 hertz is for clearing negativity away. So that's, you know, if you check out YouTube and do 417 hertz, you will find an array of different sort of music, sound, and you just have to find one that works for you, because they're very different. Some are very, I find I have to listen to it first to decide whether it's going to help me. So do check that out as another way of clearing and cleansing.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Solfeggio, or how do you
solfeggio?
use it?
Yeah, I'll share it in the comments. Okay. Yeah, solfeggio. What about, I live near the sea, and I know you love the sea. So what do you think? Is the sea anyway helpful to clear and cleanse?
Absolutely. It's like the soul bath you mentioned before. I mean, the sea is salty, you know, you can go and cleanse and wash, but also, I mean, just thinking about those waves. That's what I listen to, wave music, you know, beach sounds, just to soothe. And just imagine yourself, maybe even imagine yourself being a mermaid and going swimming in the sea, or the dolphin energy, all that joyful playfulness is very helpful. And of course, grounding on the sandy or on pebbles beaches, you know. And sometimes beaches, I think the rougher ones, like in Scotland, they are so empowering, because with the wind and that strength of the sea, it's sort of like, oh, truly grounding yourself and bringing yourself back to yourself. Does that make sense? Is that
Yes.
correct English?
No,
Bringing you back
totally.
to yourself. Good. That's the English.
Yeah, it is. I love the wild because growing up in Northern Ireland, our north coast, particularly our summers were never the best. And generally, if we went as children up to the north coast and you went swimming, it would tell you it was pretty cold. But it would kind of have that sort of rough ruggedness and a bit wild because you go walking through the sand dunes, and I always loved that. And that sort of a beach always appeals to me because and then depending on where you go, they can be sort of a little bit more secluded. There's not loads and loads of people. And I love that it's almost like just you and Mother Nature in the form of the sea. And I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just perfect, especially if you can be on your own and really connect with the forces of nature. I always love the mountains, because the mountains, for me, it's sort of like, no matter how big my problems seem, when I go in the mountains, they're so majestic, and they've been here for eons, it's like forever and ever, and they've seen everything, and they're still calm and just take it at their stride. And that is so amazing. I think okay, coming back to myself and what truly matters. Because so often we think about things that aren't important or haven't happened yet, and it brings us back. And that clearing and cleansing can truly help us to focus on the right things. And yeah, the 4 elements, air, fire, water, earth. Also, another exercise with fire is usually I connect with the sun and let the sunlight burn away what no longer serves me, all worries, fears, whatever, burn away. Let the wind blow through me. I imagine blowing through me and taking away what no longer serves me. And of course, the water washing away, and the earth we can transmute. Yes. And let go of anything that no longer serves us.
Very important. One last thing that I also use is smudging with a sage stick. I think, what's the other one? Is it Palo Santo is another one? I haven't used that one, but the sage has been one that I would tend to use. And when we moved into our house, for example, I went through every room to clear the energy, because it was an old house, like over 100 years old, and part of the original house is still here, but we then built on new parts. So I just felt that I wanted to go through and clear the energy, and I like to do that on occasions, new moons, that sort of thing, with clearing space. And I find that a useful thing to do. Just need to be very careful when you light it, that you're very careful about how you treat that. But yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and it's so important. You mentioned that it's not just our bodies and our energy system, but the rooms we are in, the homes we live in, they need clearing as well, And I use all we mentioned before with grounding and the white light on rooms as well. Or just, how do you call the sticks? Not just incense sticks as well. I go through the house and then you leave ashes everywhere, but you can be careful and just smoke in the corners, and just cleanse your home. And yeah, your home is important as well.
Definitely, because I felt energetically when I first moved in that it was a little off, and there was so many workmen still coming in and out of the space, and it just felt the energy was really off. And then when I did that, when we sort of like, that's it, this is our home, I was able to do that. And I do it sort of, as I say, sort of quite regularly, and just now it really does feel like our sanctuary, and I feel very safe here and very happy, very settled. So it has made a difference. But, you know, they're so important that for energy systems, our well-being, doing any of these techniques and using them regularly is so important.
It is. And listeners and viewers, just try one at a time. Don't feel overwhelmed with everything we shared, because you don't have to do everything at one go. Play with it. Yeah. Have fun. Try it out. Try the crystal. Try grounding. Try soul baths. Whatever comes, and notice how you feel afterwards. How much calmer or cleansed you feel. Anything else on this topic, Janet?
No, I think we've covered quite a lot of different things. But as you sort of say, go with whatever feels that you're connecting, it resonates with you. And so many of the things are so easy to do, they're quite simple to do. And, you know, you can, if you have grass, I mean, I have a nice lawn, I can go out and I can do my grounding there. So maybe if you don't have that, you know, there's the meditation method or a crystal, or, you know, there's something for everyone.
Exactly. And at the park, you can always take off your shoes and just put them on the grass and enjoy that little connection to earth, or just imagine that you are barefoot on grass. That helps too. So much about cleansing and clearing. What a wonderful topic. What are we going to talk about next week, Janet?
Sleep. Ways to try and get a better night's sleep, because sleep is so important. So we can talk more about that next week. And I know that you've got some wonderful tips to share with our listeners and viewers on that topic.
Yeah, sleep. When we don't have restorative sleep, we are only half the portion we are, you know, it's sort of, it truly helps. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, or if you love some clarity on one of the points we've mentioned, leave a comment or contact Janet at janetgroom.com or myself at carolinepalmy.com. Always love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here.
Love and light blessings, everyone.